All right, this is lesson 710, page 260. It's called Visualizing Patterns and Relationships. This is for 5th grade, and I enjoy these lessons. These are fun ones. We're going to be recording some ordered pairs, and then we're going to be graphing those ordered pairs on the coordinate grid. So I'm going to walk you through number 1 to show you the lay of the land, and then I'll set you loose on numbers 2, 3, 4, etc. So 1a says write the numbers in the table as ordered pairs, where the in numbers are the x coordinates and the out numbers are the y coordinates. Okay, so first let's talk about what's an x and a y coordinate. Remember, every time we have a grid, if we're going to be graphing ordered pairs, they should tell us and label which side is the x-axis and which side is the y. Now they write them pretty small, but they're usually going to be there. So whatever we get for the x column will be going on the x-axis, and then the y column will be going up and down vertical. So the good news is they filled out our ordered pairs for us, basically. I want you to focus on the rule. Every one of your problems will have a different rule. So in each coordinate, the x versus the y, or I should say each axis, will have a different rule. So you'll notice the x's rule for our first grid, our first graph here, table, is just +1. That means whatever we start from, 1, when we go down, we're going to add 1, or +1. So 1 + 1 is 2, +1 is 3, +1 is 4, +1 is 5, and done. And you'll notice our rule for y, it's a little different, but still really doable. It's going to be adding 2. So we started at 2, then you need to add 2, which is 4, +2 is 6, +2 is 8, +2 is 10. So really all they're asking you in number 1, in terms of the table, is to record the ordered pairs. Remember, this is important. You cannot just put, you notice how they had 1 and 2, so ordered pairs are 1, 2. You can't just do this. That looks like 24. And I'm going to be a stickler. You can't even just do this. You actually have to do every part of it. They have to be in parentheses, separated by a comma. And I bet you guys could go through and finish the rest here. Again, they start you off at a low speed, and then they're going to have you take over the reins in a moment. So once you have written down your ordered pairs and filled out your table, the next thing they want you to do is to graph the ordered pairs on the coordinate grid and then draw a line to connect them. So this is review. You've done this before, earlier in the math book this year. So you're going to go piece by piece. Our first ordered pair is 1, which is in the x, on the x-axis, 2, which is on the y. So that means, hopefully you guys can see, I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit. That means we're going to go over 1, which is not shown. You notice how they go by 2s, 2, 4, 6, 8. You have to just know that in between each one is going to be an odd number. So 1 is going to be right here. So we go over 1, up 2. Cool. Then you'll go to our next ordered pair, over 2, up 4, over 3, up 6. Once you do these enough, they kind of just come naturally. Over 4, up 8. In this case, since we have a set rule, you should be noticing a pattern. Over 5, up 10, both in the ordered pairs and how they graph. Now the important thing, which I've told you guys before, most of you should have been sent protractors or rulers, or if you have any straight edge at your house, a book, a 3-ring binder, a picture frame, an edge of a CD case, if people actually still have CD cases. I know some of your parents do. You need to use a straight edge to connect these dots. You cannot just freehand this thing, because when you're dealing with data, data's very exact. Okay, so you need to make sure that you can create a straight edge that's going to hit each of these perfectly, which is kind of hard. I'm seeing a glare. I don't think you guys are seeing one, but I am. And so once you have your straight edge, we're not going to just hit the dots. We're going to go through the dots, and we're going to expand that line all the way up and through. And you should be left with a pretty straight boom. Okay, so let me zoom back out here and I'll show you one example for part 2 where they actually have you fill out the ordered pairs. I'm just going to jump forward, and we notice our first ordered pairs are going to be 0, 0, which literally means we're starting at none over, none up. That's already your first dot. But the rule is for the x-axis +6, and for the y-axis +2. That means if we're starting at 0 and we're adding 6 each time, what is 0 plus 6? I know 0 plus 6 is 6. 0 plus 2 is 2. And there's your first, your second ordered pair. Sorry, since we're counting 0, 0. And so in this case, that's what you're going to do all the way through. Next, you're going to do 6 plus 6 and 2 plus 2, then that plus 6, all the way through. All right, so that's the long and short of part 1 of lesson 710. And I think we're going to go ahead and move on to part 2, and I will see you there.